the list. That's me first. So my name is Patty George. I reside in Toledo, Oregon. I don't know, some of you might know me. My father and I volunteered for many years with the Lincoln Pops Orchestra. He was a pianist. My mother and I worked in many of the restaurants. I started in Depot Bay at the Sea Hague when Nellie Munson was still there, and Wes Farmer and Jack Herford and Vaughn Taunton, my father's school childhood friend, all brought a boat through the Panama Canal. I've seen a lot of history in Newport. I worked at the school district. I worked at the Toledo, Newport, and Siletz middle schools, managed the Toledo Middle School. I have many family members in this community. I've had many experiences. I could be here talking about many things today. I could talk about the roads. I could talk about a lot of empty businesses up by Moby Dick's where I used to work. A lot of empty windows. A lot of issues in this county. But I'm really here today on the behalf of my family. My sister, Cindy, had a medical dispensary in Toledo. I don't know if any of you remember my folks having a problem with a well on their property towards the end of their lives. We took care of them at our home until they passed, along with my sister's husband's mother. I know y'all have a lot of commissions and meetings that you go to and groups that you are members of, traveling to New York and going out to lunch. I know that you've worked with the seniors. I'm here to tell you that when my mother was put into the rehab center over here behind the hospital, we had to take her out of there because they didn't have soap in there. I made several complaints about it, but I'm here to tell you one thing. The health departments never inspect that place. So I implore you to spend the night there like I did a couple of times. I took my mother out of there. I could be here talking about a lot of things in this county. I have a lot of people that I interact with and have throughout the years. But I'm here today because of some comments that were made on social media about my sister, who, in an act of protest over her business being bullied out of town, she was, by the way, not only bullied out of business, but presented with a $78,000 bill for attorneys that somebody, I guess you guys hired from Portland to come down and put her out of business. And it was a great success. We are not a wealthy family. We're not one of your mill families that have made a lot of money in this county fishing or anything. We're just folks. I was a cook in many restaurants when Judge Little Hales and all those guys used to come up to Moby Dick's to sit and have coffee with Milt Price. I know people. But let me tell you, when I hear that on social media, Mr. Hall, you're accusing my sister of coming in here and doing a striptease, I'm here to tell you that might be how you think of it in the evening. But to me, it was a protest about a compassionate woman who has been through a lot in the last few years. And we've lost two of my brothers, both of my parents, a mother-in-law, and my dearest niece to an accident on these county roads. Now, then, so when you talk disparagingly about her protesting the fact that her business has been run out of town, which was a legitimate legal business, or I hear that Mr. Terry Thompson is out in the community making disparaging remarks about my deceased niece. And I'm going to tell you right now, Mr. Thompson, I don't come up here and speak to you every day, and I don't do it lightly. I take my family and my community very seriously. I'm here as a law-abiding citizen to ask you and this commission. I understand you own property next to where my sister's store was. I don't know if y'all have a vendetta against my family because of the well issue, or you had to take the $20,000 off of my parents' property. Look, they spent the last 2 years of their lives living somewhere else that we paid for because they couldn't live at home. I don't know what the problem is here, but I'm going to ask you, I'm going to implore you out of the decency of representatives of this county to refrain from saying anything about my deceased niece when she's no longer alive to defend herself and her reputation. I'm also going to ask that you not depict my sister, who has, been through some emotional tragedies, as a mental case, or that she's lost her mind, or anything else. I don't think it's dignified, and I don't think it's something that our commission and our commissioners should have online posted or should be caught at a party talking about. I'm just here today to implore you to show some decency to my family and to show a little respect for my deceased niece, who would be here today speaking on my behalf if somebody had said something deplorable about me. I'm here as a community member who's volunteered, who's done a lot. I know you guys go to a lot of meetings, you make a lot of per diem for those meals and all that stuff, and you look good, you pat yourself on the back for putting up signs and doing, but I don't know that you ever know that a woman who had no money raised money to get helmets for kids at a skate park so they wouldn't crack their brains on the cement with no help from you. A woman who used to go to the school and read to the kids who couldn't read, volunteered at that school. You don't know that because you weren't there in the mornings with those little kids. A woman, my sister Cindy George, who tried desperately to show some compassion in this community, to keep people who are at the end of their life for cancer treatments. I'm imploring you to show some common decency to my family. I just don't like to go out into my community and hear your constituents tell me about stories. And I hear them. I don't want to hear them anymore.
Guess I'm not supposed to respond to this.
You can.
I'm going to say this. Your niece testified, just stay how you made your comments. Your niece testified before us. She was a very eloquent. I was impressed by her and I respected her. Now, I don't know what your friend said, but this town is loaded with rumors of people who like to make comments to try to tear people down.
I understand.
And you understand that?
Yeah, I do.
Believe me, I had a lot of respect for her and her testimony every time I met her. Now, that's all I want to say.
And could I say something as well? One thing you did leave out was that comment I made was in response to your sister telling you.
I don't think it's, I do not.
And I will apologize
Listen.
now, and I will say that was
And I will
not
apologize
appropriate,
also.
but
Yes.
it was a snap-tempered reaction, and it was beneath the dignity of my office, so I will publicly apologize for that right now.
I appreciate your honesty, sir.
And I will apologize because I don't know what was said by whom or where, but anything I said, I did very much respect her.
Just know that she was such a good person that the only thing should ever come out of anybody's mouth about Angelica Kinney is what a tragic loss it was to this community and what a compassionate, wonderful person she was. That's what I want to hear, ladies and gentlemen, come out of anybody's mouth about her, okay?
Okay. Please introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Cynthia George, and I brought the copies of the conversations that we've had. It's sad that in the 4.5 years that we came before you, this is the most communications I've ever gotten from anybody in this commissioner meetings. Nobody's ever talked about anything. So I appreciate the apology, but I wasn't focusing towards you. What I said personally was, anyone who wished to see my demise, and there's been plenty of them, not for anything other than who I am as a human being, Not because I ran a bad business, not because I didn't provide a wonderful service for our community or anything else, but because I'm a little abrupt. But I've been pushed to the point of being abrupt. Mr. Thompson, a young man came straight to me. First it was his mother, and then it was this young man who came and sat in my living room and told me exactly what was said. And there was something about an interview that you were traveling in regards to the video that I posted of my protest. And then you mentioned her accident, and you accused her of being on drugs. That's what was said.
Never accused.
Now,
Never accused.
well then maybe you just referenced that she may have been. Maybe you were just guessing. Maybe you've never seen documents, but you know what? I haven't either. I have never seen a report on any of this because I'm the mother.
Yeah.
And I hired that young man, that fisherman that was in the vehicle with her. I went out and got him an attorney so that I personally don't have to suffer anymore. Okay? So eventually, we'll all deal with whatever actually happened. But I know she was sitting, I know when she left my home. See, nobody ever asks.
Yeah.
Everybody talks. I know what happened right up until the point of impact. And I know she was sitting in a safety zone. And I've been told they were traveling at 65 miles an hour. But did anybody get written up for that accident? Going above the speed limit in a safety zone? No. Did anybody verify they were traveling without headlights as the truck drivers reported? And spotlights came on her? No. Okay? I don't know what actually took place. We may never know. Okay?
It's a tragedy.
It is a tragedy. And she doesn't deserve to be slandered by anybody. Okay? So, I've closed my doors. You'll all be glad to know. Okay? But I'm filing an appeal. The landlord's filing an appeal. Because what has taken place here is wrong. And if that property does not revert back, as you've all claimed, they violated the zoning ordinance and these special stipulations and all this, and so he's got to revert that back to RR. He's got to revert that back to rural residential. Let's hope we don't see another dispensary going in there. Let's hope it isn't connected to somebody in this community. Okay? Because it's not right. And what you guys have all created, and you know, I sat there and I watched the February 26th meeting it once again, where you guys all said you backed Rob Bovet and that bill to draft up these moratoriums and all these things. And so you've all been involved in the legislative process and pushing all these bills. And you know what you've created? A market for medical growers. They have no place to put their excess. No place. 2018, they may. This year, there's no place for any of that to go. So what you did is you took that Cole memorandum and you violated every part of it. And now, Rob's running around and he's pointing the fingers at the medical community. We're all a bunch of criminals. He's going on the radio. They're doing all these things, right? Well, the racketeering cases that got filed, those are OLCC growers. So, greed is going to bring this all down. When it started out helping the sick, and you all got greedy. So you guys have a good day.